Dibrey ha'Yamim2, 2 Chronicles, chapters 1 through 4. Dibrey ha'Yamim2, 2 Chronicles, chapter 1. And Shelomoh, son of Dawid, strengthened himself over his reign, and Yahuah his Elohim was with him, and made him exceedingly great. And Shelomoh spoke to all Yisrael, to the commanders of the thousands and of the hundreds, to the judges, and to every leader in all Yisrael, the heads of the fathers. And Shelomoh and all the assembly with him went to the high place that was at Givon, for Elohim's tent of appointment was there, which Moshe the servant of Yahuah had made in the wilderness. However, Dawid had brought up the ark of Elohim from Kiriath Yearim to the place Dawid had prepared for it, for he had pitched a tent for it in Yerushalayim. And the bronze altar that Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, had made, he put before the Mishkan of Yahuah, and Shelomoh and the assembly sought it. And Shelomoh went up there to the bronze altar before Yahuah, which was at the tent of appointment, and offered 1,000 burnt offerings on it. That night Elohim appeared to Shelomoh and said to him, "Ask what I should give you." And Shelomoh said to Elohim, "You have shown great kindness to Dawid my father, and have made me sovereign in his place. Now, Yahuah Elohim, let your promise to Dawid my father stand fast, for you have appointed me to reign over a people as numerous as the dust of the earth. Now give me wisdom and knowledge, so that I go out and come in before this people. For who rightly rules this great people of yours?" And Elohim said to Shelomoh, "Because this was in your heart, and you have not asked riches or wealth or esteem or the life of your enemies, nor have you asked long life, but have asked wisdom and knowledge for yourself, so as to rightly rule my people over whom I have appointed you to reign. Wisdom and knowledge are given to you, and riches and wealth and esteem I give you, such as none of the sovereigns have had who have been before you, nor have any after you." And Shelomoh went to Yerushalayim from the high place that was at Givon, from before the tent of appointment, and reigned over Yisrael. And Shelomoh gathered chariots and horsemen, and he had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen, whom he stationed in the chariot cities and with the sovereign in Yerushalayim. And the sovereign made silver and gold to be as stones in Yerushalayim, and he made cedars to be as plenty as the sycamores which are in the low country. And Shelomoh had horses imported from Mitzrayim and from Kueh. The sovereign's merchants bought them in Kueh at a price. And they came up and brought from Mitzrayim a chariot for 600 pieces of silver, and a horse for 150. And so for all the sovereigns of the Hittites and the sovereigns of Aram, they brought them out by their hand. Divrei ha'Yamim2, 2 Chronicles, chapter 2. And Shelomoh gave word to build a house for the name of Yahuah, and a house for his reign. Then Shelomoh enrolled 70,000 men to bear burdens, 80,000 hewing in the mountains, and 3,600 to oversee them. And Shelomoh sent to Hiram, sovereign of Zor, saying, "As you did for my father Dawid, and sent him cedars to build himself a house to dwell in, see, I am building a house for the name of Yahuah my Elohim, to kadosh it to him, to burn before him sweet incense, and for the continual showbread, and for the burnt offerings morning and evening, on the Shabbatot, and on the new moons, and on the appointed times of Yahuah our Elohim. This is for Yisrael forever. And the house which I build is great, for our Elohim is greater than almighty ones. But who is able to build him a house, since the Shamayim and the Shamayim of the Shamayim are unable to contain him? Who am I then, that I should build him a house, except to offer before him? And now send me at once a man who knows to work in gold, and in silver, and in bronze, and in iron, and in purple, and crimson, and blue, and knowing to engrave with the skilled men who are with me in Yehudah and Yerushalayim, who Dawid my father has prepared. And send me cedar, cypress, and algum logs from Lebanon, for I know that your servants know to cut timber in Lebanon. And see, my servants are with your servants, even to prepare plenty of timber for me, for the house that I am building is great and marvelous. And see, I have given servants to you, the hewers who cut timber, 20,000 cores of ground wheat, and 20,000 cores of barley, and 20,000 baths of wine, and 20,000 baths of oil. Then Hiram, the sovereign of Zor, answered in writing, which he sent to Shelomoh, because Yahuah loves his people, he has made you sovereign over them. And Hiram said, Baruch be Yahuah Elohim of Yisrael, who made the Shamayim and earth, for he has given sovereign David a wise son, knowing wisdom and understanding, to build a house for Yahuah and a house for his reign. And now I have sent a skilled man having understanding, Hiram Avi, the son of a woman of the daughters of Dan, and his father was a man of Zor, who knows to work in gold and in silver, in bronze, in iron, in stone, and in wood, purple and blue, and in fine linen, and in crimson, and to make any engraving, and to accomplish any plan that is given to him, with your skilled men, and with the skilled men of my master David, your father. And now the wheat and the barley, the oil and the wine which my master has spoken of, let him send to his servants. And let us cut wood from Lebanon as much as you need, and bring it to you in rafts by sea to Yahuah, and you take it up to Yerushalayim. And Shelomoh numbered all the men, the strangers who were in the land of Yisrael, according to the census in which David his father had numbered them, and they were found to be 153,600. And he made 70,000 of them to bear burdens, and 80,000 hewers in the mountain, and 3,600 overseers to make the people work. Dibrey ha'Yamim2, 2 Chronicles, chapter 3. And Shelomoh began to build the house of Yahuah at Yerushalayim on Mount Moriah, where he appeared to his father David, at the place that David had prepared on the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. And he began to build on the 2nd day of the 2nd month in the 4th year of his reign. And these are the foundations which Shelomoh laid for building the house of Elohim. The length by amah according to the former measure were 60 amah, and the width 20 amah. And the porch that was in front from 20 amah long according to the breadth of the house, and the height was 120. And he overlaid the inside with clean gold. And the great house he paneled with cypress, which he overlaid with fine gold, and he carved palm trees and chainwork on it. And he covered the house with precious stones for comeliness, and the gold was gold from Parawim. And he overlaid the house, the beams, the doorposts, and its walls, and its doors with gold, and carved cherubim on the walls. And he made the house of the most Kodesh. Its length was according to the width of the house, 20 amah, and its width 20 amah. And he overlaid it with fine gold, 600 kikars. And the weight of the nails was 50 shekels of gold. And he overlaid the upper rooms with gold. And the most Kodesh house he made 2 cherubim of sculptured work, and overlaid them with gold. And the wings of the cherubim, their length was 20 amah. One wing was 5 amah, touching the wall of the room, and the other wing was 5 amah, touching the wing of the other cherub. And the wing of the other cherub was 5 amah, touching the wall of the room, and the other wing also was 5 amah, touching the wing of the other cherub. The wings of these cherubim spread out 20 amah, and they stood on their feet, and they faced inward. And he made the veil of blue and purple and crimson and fine linen, and worked cherubim on it. And at the front of the house he made 2 columns 35 amah high, and the capital that was on top of each of them was 5 amah. And he made wreaths of chainwork as in the speaking place, and put them on top of the columns. And he made 100 pomegranates, and put them on the wreaths of chainwork. And he put up the columns before the Hekel, one on the right and the other on the left, and called the name of the one on the right Yachin, and the name of the one on the left Boaz. Divrei ha'Yamim2, 2 Chronicles, chapter 4. And he made an altar of bronze, 20 amah long, and 20 amah wide, and 10 amah high. And he made the sea of cast metal, 10 amah, from one rim to the other, round all about. And its height was 5 amah, and a line of 30 amah measured around it. And figures like oxen were under it, all around it, 10 to an amah, all the way around the sea. 2 rows of oxen were cast when it was cast. It stood on 12 oxen, 3 facing north, and 3 facing west, and 3 facing south, and 3 facing east. And the sea was put upon them, and all their back parts were inward. And it was a tophach thick, and its rim was shaped like the rim of a cup, like a lily blossom. It held 3,000 baths. And he made 10 basins, and put 5 on the right side and 5 on the left, to wash in them. In them they rinsed off what pertains to the burnt offering, but the sea was for the Kohanim to wash in. And he made 10 lampstands of gold according to their ruling, and put them in the Hekel, 5 on the right side and 5 on the left. And he made 10 tables and placed them in the Hekel, 5 on the right side and 5 on the left. And he made 100 bowls of gold. And he made the courtyard of the Kohanim and the great court, and doors for the court. And he overlaid these doors with bronze. And he placed the sea on the right side eastward over against the south. And Hiram made the pots and the shovels and the bowls. So Hiram completed doing the work that he was to do for sovereign Shelomoh for the house of Elohim. The 2 columns and the bowl-shaped capitals that were on top of the 2 columns, and the 2 networks to cover the 2 bowl-shaped capitals which were on top of the columns, and 400 pomegranates for the 2 networks, 2 rows of pomegranates for each network to cover the 2 bowl-shaped capitals that were on the columns. And he made stands and the basins on the stands, 1 sea and 12 oxen under it, and the pots and the shovels and the forks. And all their vessels Hiram, his master craftsman, made of polished bronze for sovereign Shelomoh for the house of Yahuah. On the plain of Yarden the sovereign had cast them in clay molds between Sukkoth and Zeradatha. And Shelomoh made so large a number of all these vessels that the weight of the bronze was not searched out. And Shelomoh had all the furnishings made for the house of Elohim, and the altar of gold, and the tables on which was the showbread, and the lampstands with their lamps of refined gold, to burn according to right ruling in front of the speaking place, and the blossoms, and the lamps, and the snuffers of gold, of perfect gold, and the snuffers, and the bowls, and the ladles, and the fire holders of refined gold. And the entrance to the house, its inner doors to the most Kodesh place, and the doors of the Hekel of the house were of gold.